Hello and welcome to Hot Issues of the Week, a weekly feature covering the major news headlines of the past week in Korea. I'm Jim Bully. Thank you for tuning in. President Moon Jae-in returns home after a 5-day trip to the United States. Kim Yo-jong calls Moon's proposal to end the Korean War a good idea, and authorities tighten social distancing rules again after the Chuseok holiday. These are the week's hot issues. Stay tuned. President Moon Jae-in returned home on Thursday after a 5-day trip to the US to attend the United Nations General Assembly. During the trip, Moon attended the opening ceremony of the Sustainable Development Goals Moment event and vowed that Seoul would actively participate in efforts to address environment and other global issues. The president repeated a call for a formal end to the Korean War in his address to the UN General Assembly, proposing the two Koreas and the United States, possibly joined by China, make such a declaration. On the sidelines of the General Assembly, Moon held bilateral summit talks with the leaders of Britain, Slovenia and Vietnam. As for COVID-19 vaccine diplomacy, Moon held talks with Pfizer CEO Albert Bourla and attended a signing ceremony for a South Korea-US global vaccine partnership in New York. In Hawaii, Moon visited the National Memorial Cemetery of the Pacific and awarded posthumous medals to two Korean immigrants in recognition of their independence activities during Japan's colonial rule of Korea. The remains of dozens of South Korean soldiers killed during the Korean War have been repatriated from the US. Moon presided over a repatriation ceremony at the Seoul Air Base, south of Seoul, on Thursday night, arranged for the 68 sets of remains arriving from Honolulu, Hawaii. The event was held immediately after Moon returned from the US. 8 bereaved family members of 2 identified soldiers, Privates First Class Kim Seok-ju and Chung Hwan-jo, were among some 20 attendees, along with the President, First Lady Kim Jong-suk, Defense Minister Soh-uk, and other top military commanders. Patriots and Veterans Affairs Minister Hwang Ki-cheol and Presidential Chief of Staff Yoo Young-min also attended the ceremony, which the top office said was held with the highest level of courtesy for the war remains. The remains will be enshrined at the Seoul National Cemetery. Kim Yo-jong, the sister of North Korean leader Kim Jong-un, has called President Moon Jae-in's proposal to declare a formal end to the Korean War interesting and a good idea. Posted on state-run Korean Central News Agency Friday, her statement comes just 7 hours after the North's Vice Foreign Minister, Lee Tae-sung, had dismissed the pitch made at the UN General Assembly as premature. Kim, who serves as the Deputy Director of the ruling party's Publicity and Information Department, said such a declaration could end the decades-long instability on the Korean peninsula and have the involved parties withdraw hostilities against each other. She set preconditions to the declaration and improvement in inter-Korean relations, saying they must guarantee mutual respect and withdrawals of bias, antagonistic policies, and unfair double standards. She said as long as Seoul stops provocations, applying a double standard and hostility against Pyongyang, the regime is open to close communication and resuming dialogue to restore and develop inter-Korean ties. The US on Friday reiterated its willingness to meet with North Korea without preconditions and hoped for a positive response from Pyongyang. In a virtual press briefing, State Department spokesman Ned Price said the US goal is the complete denuclearization of the Korean peninsula, and it will continue to seek engagement with the North as part of a collaborated practical approach in order to make tangible progress that increases security not only for the US, but also for allies and its deployed forces. He stressed the US has no hostile intent toward North Korea and is prepared to meet without preconditions, and hoped the regime would respond positively to its outreach. Price also highlighted trilateral efforts with South Korea and Japan, saying that one of the primary topics of a 3-way meeting held in New York this week was a common approach toward North Korea. He said that to be effective, the US needs to continue to be and work in lockstep with its partners in Seoul and Tokyo. Price also expressed support for inter-Korean dialogue and engagement, saying it's a good thing, and added that the US and South Korea continue to work closely on the broader agenda. Authorities have further tightened caps on private gatherings in the capital region and other areas under the toughest Level 4 social distancing measures after the Chuseok holiday. The Korea Disease Control and Prevention Agency said that private gatherings of up to 8 people were temporarily allowed across the nation for the week around Chuseok, but the eased cap will no longer apply from Friday. Under the move, private gatherings of up to 6 people, including 2 fully vaccinated people, will be allowed before 6 p.m. in areas under Level 4. After 6 p.m, these gatherings will be allowed if they include 4 fully vaccinated people. Such gatherings will only be allowed at homes, restaurants and cafes. In areas under Level 3, private gatherings of up to 8 people will be allowed at home and at all multi-use spaces, provided the group includes 4 fully vaccinated people. But the government announced Thursday that fully vaccinated people will not have to undergo a 14-day self-quarantine after coming into close contact with a COVID-19 patient if they have no symptoms, even if the patient has a variant strain. The KDCA announced the guidelines, saying they adjusted the rules, taking into account the pace of vaccinations and the spread of variants. Netflix original series Squid Game was ranked as the most popular show on the streaming platform in the US. According to streaming data company Flix Patrol on Wednesday, the new South Korean survival drama outpaced Sex Education to rank number 1 on the list of the top 10 Netflix shows and films in the US. In terms of world rankings, Squid Game ranked second after Sex Education. The last time an original South Korean series made the top 10 list in the US was last year, when Sweet Home came in third. Starring top actor Lee Jung-jae, Squid Game also topped charts in South Korea and 14 other countries, including Vietnam, the United Arab Emirates, and Singapore. The series is about a group of financially strapped people risking their lives in a string of children's games with deadly twists for a chance at a cash prize of more than 45 billion won. South Korea will send 2 athletes to compete in men's figure skating at the 2022 Beijing Winter Olympics, the first time ever 2 Koreans have qualified for the men's event. 21-year-old Lee Si-hyung secured the second ticket to Beijing for South Korea after finishing 5th at the ISU Nebelhorn Trophy tournament held in Germany on Saturday. The Olympic berth was given to the top 7 scorers. Fellow figure skater Cha Jun-hwan earlier secured a spot after ranking 10th in the men's single at the ISU World Championships in March. As Olympic tickets are allocated to countries and not individuals, the Korea Skating Union will now hold domestic qualifiers to select the 2 athletes who will compete at the Winter Games. 2 berths have also been secured for the women's competition. In ice dancing, Min Yu-ra and Daniel Eaton are currently vying for a spot for South Korea at the ongoing Nebelhorn Trophy event. Korea did not qualify for the pairs event. That's all for Hot Issues this week. Thanks for staying with us. I'm Jim Bully, signing off.